Hey everybody, I'm Jann here with Paul Danish, former city council member, author of the Danish Plan, columnist for the Boulder Weekly. Probably, if anybody is considered to be the father of current Boulder, this would be the man. We're fortunate to have him on our TV show today. Thanks so much, Paul. What was or what is the Danish Plan?
The Danish Plan was an attempt to control the rate of growth in Boulder and keep it 1.5% to 2% a year, and it was doing that by limiting the number of building permits that you could get in 10 years.
Okay, now when was it initiated?
It was initiated in the 1976 election. Well, the reason there's so much development in the 28th and 30th Street corridor is some years ago the city council did a sort of a squeeze play in the night when nobody was looking, and essentially exempted it from Boulder's growth controls. So what followed was an explosion of growth in that corridor, which was supposedly justified that it was going to make a more compact and walkable city. In fact, what it did is it turned 28th Street into Animation Alley. If we continue to pour more growth into the city, and especially in those areas where the streets have reached their limit, the result is going to be fairly obvious, and that is you're going to have gridlock.
Okay, we already have gridlock, right?
I'd say that in the 28th, 30th Street corridor, you have something that's a pretty good impersonation of it.
Okay, let's talk about this Proposition 301 and 300.
The Initiative 300 simply says that if the city council tries to rezone a neighborhood,
right,
the neighborhood has a right to circulate a petition, and if it gets enough signatures, it can force a vote on that rezoning. Now, this meets the technical definition of a referendum. A referendum is when a legislative body does something, and the citizens are able, through the petitioning process, to have an election on what that legislative body did. And that's what 300 does.
So, why are people up in arms about 300?
Well, because it's a pro-growth and expansionist business community which wants to continue expanding, and they see that as a threat. The direct threat was the city council attempted to do a backdoor upzoning, and I mean 300 did not come out of thin air. It was done because people felt their neighborhoods were really threatened.
That's what's going on right now, isn't it? We have density, urban development. It's time to have more density in Boulder and time to have urban development.
Which, yeah, that's basically what's happening. It's gone up and down over the years. Remember, this was originally a town supplying mines.
Yep. The
mines boomed, Boulder boomed. Now, there were periods when there was virtually no growth in Boulder, like from 1930 to 1940, which was the Depression.
Right.
The population of Boulder increased by about 200. Now, after the war, things started changing, and the town started growing. And by 1960, the population of the town was up to about 40,000. This was maybe about 25,000 before the war.
Right.
But really the thing which got everybody's attention was starting in about 1960. You began getting some fairly large employers coming in besides the University of Colorado, and that's the National Bureau of Standards, or NIST as we call it today,
yep,
and NCAR, and IBM, which was the real biggie. The result of this was that if the population was 40,000 in 1960, by 1970 it was 66,000. Those are U.S. Census numbers, incidentally. By 1976, when I proposed the Danish Plan, it was pushing 80,000. So, I mean, that's a hell of a lot of growth. It worked out to about a 5% year growth rate during the 60s. By the 70s, it had slowed down to 3%. Well, 3% is still a pretty high growth rate. It means that your doubling time is about 20 years, and you know that's pretty fast.
301, let's talk about it. What is it? And why are people mad about it, and why should people vote for it?
Well, the reason you want to vote for it is if you don't, if growth continues, you're going to end up subsidizing it through your taxes. And you're also going to end up subsidizing it through your quality of life, because it means, for instance, that somebody can build a building that employs 1,500 people, like Google is, and then provide it with maybe 350 parking places. Well, it doesn't take a genius to know how that piece of business is going to end. It's going to end with cars all over an already traffic-choked area trying to find places to park.
Now, 301, development pays its own way. Don't they pay their own way now?
Not really. It depends where it is and what kind of development. Generally speaking, commercial development generates enough tax revenues that it's paying for the ongoing cost of the services. It may or may not pay sufficient development fees to supply the initial services. If you're doing residential development, it almost never pays its own.
Now, do either of these reduce the amount of building that's going to be going on in Boulder?
No. Only indirectly if developers say, well, this project becomes too expensive if I have to pay the cost of it.
What about the people that say if these two pass, we're going to make it outrageously expensive to live in Boulder?
Well, you know, this argument came up during the Danish Plan. The usual way they put it was it's a simple matter of supply and demand. Well, it's not. What it really is a simple matter of demand and supply. The reason housing costs a lot in Boulder, and a lot more now than it did back in the 1970s, is the incomes of Boulder people have gone way up because we have a lot of well-paying jobs around here, which we did not have in the 70s.
We have housing for college students. We have roughly, 20,000 or so, or
30,000.
30,000. Okay, but we have a lot of undergraduates that have to rent apartments. They have to afford to come here. How do they afford to come here and live?
Well, they got a pretty good leg up if they were paying half a state tuition, which is $34,000 a year now, so they're not church money to begin with. If you're paying in-state, it's about $11,000 to $12,000 at this point, and it'll be going up, of course. And what's probably happening now, because there is no way that Boulder can supply housing for another 20,000 students, is I think those kids are looking outside of Boulder. And one thing that most of them have is cars. Makes sense to go and rent a place down in Westminster or Brookfield, someplace like that, and it's happening now all the time.
So, there's a whole list of people listening to the Boulder Weekly this week, a big ad, that say, do not vote for this. I mean, former city council members, people all over the place, from various persuasions. What do you say to those guys?
Well, a lot of them are responsible for the mess. So, I mean, let's be honest about this. Some of those folks were on the council when they did vote to cut the growth ordinances. Others have believed in the concept of mixed use.
Paul Danish writes the Danish Plan every week in Boulder Weekly. Thanks
every other week.
Every other week. Thanks so much for being on the TV show. It's Paul Danish, ladies and gentlemen, and you can write to him, you can read him. If you want to be informed about Boulder and our growth and all of that, if you really want, some depth, he's the person to talk to.